Is it mainly a comedy, or is it more of a drama, or both?
That's a little bit of both. I mean, like, I think it's just got jokes. I think it's like a drama show with jokes.
Okay.
You know, it's not like they're not trying to make you laugh. They're trying to educate is what they're trying to do.
Ah, okay.
And then within that, they have a good character drama that like has humorous moments and so forth, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Think like... see, I was gonna say, you probably haven't watched the show either. HBO has the show Euphoria with Zendaya.
I've heard of it.
It's kind of like that, but like way less dark because Euphoria is fucking dark.
Yeah,
and sometimes sex ed goes there too, but
not in the same place. As
not nearly the same place. Like Euphoria, I watched like 4 episodes in one night and got depression. And I was like, I need to stop. This show is too dark. I need to calm down.
I'm guessing it's not dark in the bloody way, but more of the just kind of realistic, sad way.
Yeah, like, oh man, this shit is fucked up. Like, everybody's on drugs.
Yeah.
Everybody's doing fucked up shit. Like, it's fucked up. But no, sex education is more like realistic.
Yeah.
You know, like, in that, like, not everybody is doing drugs. There's one guy with a drug problem, or there might be one kid with a drug problem, and then there's a couple of kids who are, you know, embarrassed about sex. Everybody's fucking, which may be less realistic, at least in my time. Like, certainly, like, kids in high school were fucking, but it wasn't like everybody was fucking. But that's kind of like, they also kind of make fun of that in the show. That like,
Jesus, they're just fucking all over.
Literally, like there's one running joke throughout the entire series where the show is really good at bringing back characters who were small parts and then expanding on them later. It's like literally like, okay, that's a background character that's here for one episode, but then like. There's a running gag where like this one couple is openly having sex everywhere. Like they're in the school courtyard, they're at a house party, they're at a doctor's office, they're on the bus just having sex. And it's they keep bringing back these same 2 actors to just hump each other every fucking couple of episodes.
I mean, if they're fucking on the bus, I guess that's something that everyone would see. So whatever character you're focusing on, whatever perspective is going on.
And it's literally like the camera will just pan. Oh, there's those 2 fucking. And then it'll keep going. It's really good. I also, while I was waiting for you, I watched the first episode of The West Wing. You ever watched The West Wing?
I've heard of that, and it sounds like a boring show.
It was the House of Cards of the late 90s and early 2000s.
Yeah, I've heard it's very good. Is it good?
I liked the first episode. I didn't love it. My dad is a huge fan of the show. He's watched it like 3-4 times or whatever, and he's like, yeah, sure, that first season, because Martin Sheen plays the president.
Yes.
And when they started the show, the idea was the president was going to be a smaller role, and it was more about the drama of the cabinet. But Martin Sheen comes in and fucking kills it. So then he does become the main character.
That's the thing I've always taken away from that show whenever I hear about it. It's always Martin Sheen scenes. Because I get recommended weirdest things on YouTube. And he's always in the thumbnail. It's always
him. Well, the first episode, for example, I mean, they open up with like the president has been in an accident. Like that's your hook, and it's a minor thing. It's not really a big thing, but it's a 40-minute show. He doesn't show up until the last 10 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Like he's just not there until the last 10 minutes, and boy does he have an introduction. Let me tell you what,
he does.
He fucking kicks ass. Anyways, Connor. Let's go ahead and drop some sense on him, buddy.
Yeah, this isn't... We don't talk about TV.
We don't talk about TV, the lesser entertainment medium of the world. We talk about video games over here, ladies and gentlemen. What's poppin', players? Welcome back to the Two Penny Gamescast, episode 63. I am your host, Tavin Bothel, here with my good friend and co-host, Connor Elliott. Say hello to the people, Connor.
Howdy.
If you didn't know, this show, me and Connor come to you each week, Monday, 8 a.m., youtube.com/2pennygamescast, or mainstream podcast services of your choice, Spotify, SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. We're out here. Please drop us a like, a subscribe, a follow, all that good stuff. It really does help. Share it to your friends. It's a good time. And every week, we come to you with the new news that you need to know all about the video game industry. We come to you with 2 topics each, 2 pennies, if you will, and we give you our 2 cents on them. This week, Connor, I didn't give you the rundown of the show, did I?
No, but I can assume I know what we're doing since there's only...
I mean, you know the 4 stories we're doing.
I do, yeah.
You do know, but you don't know the order in which we're doing. We're starting with me, Connor. My first penny of the day.
I wonder what that is.
It's the one I have pulled up here on the screen that you can see.
Not the other one. Okay.
Oh, no. We're saving that one for the end.
Of course. It's got to be the end.
It's got to be the
one.
end.
And let me guess, it's going to... viewers, I don't know if this is going to be the case. It's going to be the thumbnail, I'm assuming.
It's going to be ladies and gentlemen, if you came here because of the title, go ahead and skip to whatever the fucking time code is in the description if you're only here for that. And you made it through the 3.5 minutes of us talking about television. Anyways, Connor, we're starting penny number 1 off Bluepoint Games has finally been acquired by PlayStation.
Took them long enough.
It has taken them long enough indeed. If you remember, several months ago when Housemarque got acquired, I believe it was the PlayStation Japan Twitter account also put out the acquisition of Bluepoint. So obviously this has been in talks for a long, long time, probably years. But anyways, we got an official acquisition announcement a few days ago, 3 days ago from September 30th. Welcoming from the PlayStation blog, welcoming Bluepoint Games to the PlayStation Studios family. This is Herman Holst, or his secretary or whatever. Developers of critically acclaimed remakes joins the PlayStation Studios family today. I'm very excited to announce that PlayStation Studios has grown again with the addition of longtime partner Bluepoint Games, from the exceptional PS5 remake of Demon's Souls to the critically acclaimed PlayStation 4 remake of Shadow of the Colossus and remasters of fan favorites like Uncharted: The Nathan Drake Collection. Bluepoint has built a name for itself by creating some of the highest quality remasters and remakes within the industry. With each of its projects, Bluepoint has raised the bar on console-defining visuals and gameplay, and the studio's vast expertise in world-building and character creation will be a huge plus for future PlayStation Studios properties. Welcome to the PlayStation Studios family, Bluepoint. So, this is very exciting news. I'm very excited about it. Bluepoint, I think, is one of the more interesting and exciting studios out there in the industry right now. I think I've mentioned it on this show a few times. I'm concerned about the history of video games being lost. There's a lot of technology out there that doesn't work anymore. Famously, like old cartridges and stuff, like they run off of batteries and they die, and then those games are just kind of lost forever if we don't make an effort to preserve them and keep them and keep that history alive. And I think Bluepoint does an excellent job of with their work with remastering games and remaking games, of keeping these games alive in a public conscious way, in a more accessible way, and improving on the quality of life of these games, specifically like things like Shadow of the Colossus, remapping button controls and making it feel a little smoother to play, and increasing frame rates and all that, so it doesn't feel like a PlayStation 2 game on a PlayStation 4. Demon's Souls, everybody loved, and I, for the few hours I spent with it, it was a solid constructed game. To my understanding, the fandom holds it as a better version of the game than the original, which is great. Yeah. Definitely looks phenomenal, and is probably the easiest way to play that game now, because not everybody has a PlayStation 3.
Well, not everyone has a PS5 either.
Yeah, but they will eventually.
Yeah.
Everybody has a PlayStation 4.
In due time, it'll definitely become way more easier to play on the PS3. I mean, that goes into what you were talking about before. And at some point, also, people are going to have a harder time finding PS3s. So a game like this, if it wasn't for Bluepoint, would have stayed on the PS3. Because we know From Software doesn't really deal with remakes. They did the remastered Dark Souls 1, but it's not the same thing.
Well, that was also handled by a different studio, which we will talk about later in the show.
Ah, I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Dark Souls fan, didn't know that.
Yeah, no. But anyways, yeah. So I'm super excited about this, and when it was announced, I was so certain. I was like, Metal Gear Remake is coming. But the rumor mill was spinning. And the Jeff Grubbs on Twitter and the Imran Khans on Twitter, they were saying, "Hey man, we're hearing Bluepoint is working on their next remake or their next game." I think I was hearing things of they're actually working on 2 different games.
Okay. Trying to show out more.
One maybe being an original game. Who knows? Don't know. I'll take all of this with a grain of salt. But everybody was saying, "Hey man, they're not working on Metal Gear," which bummed me out for a few days. And then we found out some other news. But Connor, any other opinions, thoughts? Think pieces of this Bluepoint acquisition?
Not really. I'm just surprised it didn't happen earlier when Demon's Souls came out, because I was waiting for when they were going to announce that for PC, but they just kept it on PS5, which is different than what Bluepoint would have done if they weren't. They've always made games for Sony, almost like they did the Uncharted games, which obviously aren't on
the only
Xbox.
one that I can think of that went multi-platform is the Metal Gear Solid collection. On PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. But yeah, I think you're correct. Ever since the Uncharted Nathan Drake collection, they've pretty much been Sony exclusive games. I'm trying to remember if they did anything between that and Shadow of the Colossus, and I don't think they did.
I don't think they did. I mean,
the Uncharted was the last thing they did before that.
They did a lot of quality over quantity, so they didn't release many games.
Absolutely,
they're newer.
Yeah.
Relatively newer. But I'm just excited to see what next game it is. Hopefully it's one that I played back in the day.
Could this be that Last of Us remake that was circulating a few months ago.
Could be
Maybe.
one of those 2 games if they are 2 games. But
Could be one of those. Maybe it's an Uncharted 1 remake. Maybe who knows what it could be. But yeah, I'm super excited to see anything Bluepoint has to offer because I think they're doing some of the most important work right now. Not the most mind-blowing work by any sense, because you are just playing the same games again. But and they're very traditional with their remakes. It's very much you're getting that same experience again, just with a very nice coat of paint on it.
Now that I think about it, what are I know you've been playing it recently. What's the potential of them doing Jak and Daxter? Because we know that Naughty Dog's not going to do anything.
Not
like
a shot in hell.
You don't think so?
Not a shot in hell.
Now that it's acquired by Sony,
Well,
you don't think they would?
I don't even know if Sony owns the rights to Jak and Daxter.
Oh, maybe not anymore.
I have no idea. I couldn't tell you. Not at all. Not a shot in hell. I think Jak and Daxter is going to be one of those titles that is just going to be retired. And I mean, I don't think we're getting any more. I don't think we're really going to get any more out of any of those 3D platformer mascots except for Ratchet and Clank, because he's the only one who's remained relevant. But like Sly Cooper's been dead for a long time, and I don't think we're ever going back to Sly Cooper. Crash, I think now with how Activision has closed Toys for Bob and stuff, I think Crash is now dead. I think Spyro has gone that way as well. Like I just think all these guys are gone. And though there is some cry for Jak and Daxter to come back, I think it's on the lesser end. And now that I'm playing these Jak and Daxter games, like I don't know why anybody would want this experience again.
Well, hey, Bluepoint updated it. Who knows?
Who knows, man? But regardless, I'm very excited to see. See, I would have even thought they were going to do the KOTOR remake, but that's Aspyr now. We know that's Aspyr now. So I'm trying to think of what is a series, what is a franchise that like people are yearning for to be remade in some kind of way. I mean, they could do Eco, the Shadow, the game previous to Shadow of the Colossus that does have some fanfare. I mean, it could be fucking anything, man. It really could be anything.
I couldn't even begin to tell what they would do at this point, because we know they're not doing Kojima games.
Yeah, and then Final Fantasy VII is being remade by Square Enix, so it's not that. And then
and they wouldn't do any other Final Fantasy games. That'd be weird. No, Square Enix would do it. If they were
I would take it, but
I'd take it. But Square Enix would be the ones that would handle that.
I think Square Enix would rather keep everything in house for that.
God knows.
Maybe a Kingdom Hearts remake. Still Square Enix, but
Phil would perk up that.
Phil would love that, and I think it would be a way to inject some life into that franchise that, not that I think needs it. We just got Kingdom Hearts 3, and it was commercially successful, but
underwhelming to fans.
I don't know how many, underwhelming to fans, but I don't know how much more, life we're getting out of that franchise without some kind of revitalization of it.
And that's also done by Square Enix, so who knows if they're generally just want to keep things to themselves.
Or Square Enix executives might be like, all right, enough with this fucking weird ass Disney, and you're dealing with Disney at the same time.
Yeah.
Granted, Disney does have an excellent relationship with Sony through Marvel games, with Spider-Man and now Wolverine, and then the PlayStation exclusive Spider-Man in the Avengers game. And then I'm trying to think, where was... No, I guess because Guardians was announced at Square, and it's a Square Enix studio doing Guardians. So then it's... Who was doing Midnight Suns? Where was that announced?
It was announced recently at
It's the XCOM guys doing that.
Yeah.
Firaxis Games, but I don't remember where that was announced. Anyways, Connor, that's beside the point. We hypothesized a few things. Really, just kind of up in the air with Bluepoint. Excuse me.
Ooh, a little burp in there.
Yeah, a little burp. That's that hunger burp right there. I'm hungry. Anyways, let's move on. Bandai Namco has had a little bit of a rebrand. This is your first penny of the day, our second topic, and I'm a little confused by all this, Connor. I'll be honest.
Oh, really?
So we're pulling a Destructoid article by Chris Moyes. Bandai Namco revealed its new vision, new purpose, and new logo. With a new logo, publisher Bandai Namco Entertainment has announced an intention to further build and strengthen its presence with multiple industries into 2022 and beyond, encapsulated by the company's new vision or its, quote, new purpose. The publisher speaks repeatedly of this new purpose, which seems to be an all in nom de plume? In de nom de plume? I don't know what that means. Chris, you're too fancy for me, my man.
He's French, I bet.
for the studio's ongoing efforts to broaden its global horizons, forging stronger bonds with its partners, connecting better with fans, and continuing to produce new and innovative IPs, products, and services. The new purpose will be driven by the company's debut slogan, quote, "Fun for all into the future."
By the way, it's pen name? That's what it means? Like, it's their new pen name for their ongoing efforts to broaden its global horizon.
The new purpose is the new pen name for that. Okay, yeah, cool. To this end, Bandai Namco has also revealed a new logo, which will replace the familiar orange effort synonymous with the company since the merger of Namco and Bandai Entertainment. The new design features the words Bandai Namco in black font outlined with a magenta speech bubble, though the company suggests that the new design was inspired by manga culture, and then there's some editorialization here. Thanks, Chris. Losing both the stylization and the treeful from it. Okay, yeah. Nevertheless, the new logo and slogan will be adapted to all Bandai Namco products and services from April 2022, when the company's new purpose thematic comes into effect. Logo or otherwise, Bandai Namco has long proven itself a major player in the video game industry. Okay,
yeah. This
so,
is the usual stuff.
We don't need to talk too much about the legacy of Bandai Namco here. Tekken, Dragon Ball Z, Dark Souls, Pac-Man, all that great stuff. Go ahead.
I'm going to come out and say it.
Yeah.
It looks like shit.
It's a bad rebrand logo. The logo is bad. Nothing about this speaks video games to me. This looks like the name for a tech company. This looks like the logo for a tech company. You look like Discord, bro. You look like this is like a Google Gmail looking ass logo. Like this doesn't speak family fun. This doesn't speak Street Fighter. Like this doesn't. What is this?
This is a whole larger thing of companies simplifying their logos. Now that I'm thinking about it, it's kind of hard to come up with them on the top of my head. Discord did it a while ago. Of course, they're not an old company, but people didn't like the lettering that they were using for that. But dang, what were some other ones?
Google has
Firefox is a big one people point to.
Yeah, Google has unified all of its logos to all look the same, and now they all look the same, so we don't know what each logo means.
It's a strange direction for people in HR and PR.
Yeah,
because no one asked for it, no one wants it.
And I also they're rebrand it, but make it look the same. Like Insomniac rebranded their logo recently. They went for a more suggestive symbol of their moon instead of just straight up the moon, which at the time I was kind of iffy on, but now I get it. Now we're less Insomniac of the Ratchet and Clank days, and now that we're in the Spider-Man era. And still having, Ratchet and Clank stick around, but I've grown. Insomniac's new logo has grown on me. PlayStation, for example, PlayStation Studios, we've gotten rid of the colors in the little PlayStation symbol. We still have that symbol, but there's less of a 3D element to it, and now it's just a black image on a white background, and it's just strange, man. It's strange. Mm-hmm. But this is by far the worst version of this that we've seen in a minute. This is just not fun for all into the future.
For some reason, whenever I see the magenta outlining around Bandai Namco, that seems like someone that would be put on some kind of publication online that talks about video games. It reminds me of Polygon for some reason.
Yeah, right? This is so, Silicon Valley looking. This doesn't speak video games to me, and maybe we don't want to be... Maybe we're trying to expand and, do something else. Sure. Go ahead and do that, but, I don't know, man. Your last logo, and maybe I'm just maybe I'm just doing that thing where I'm just being adverse to change, and I just need to give it a minute. But your old logo meant something. When your logo showed up in the beginning of a trailer, it meant something. Yeah. And this one showing up is not going to mean anything.
No,
this is not a statement when this logo appears. This is bland and boring, and forgettable. It's really forgettable, is what it is. Mm-hmm.
It's black lettering around an outline of a bubble.
Yeah,
basically.
with the magenta, and it's just not going to work.
Anybody could have made that. You could have made that idea. You could have just fucked around and
I've literally made better logos.
Yeah,
I've literally done it in Photoshop, fucking around for 15 minutes,
and people get paid to do that.
I'm not a graphic designer at all. Graphic design, not my passion. Yeah. But I've done better than that. Come on now.
Yeah, do graphic design? No offense to graphic designers. Do you guys just suck now? Is that? I know. There's graphic designers out there that are amazing at what they do, but
there's a lot of people who are really good at what they do.
Oh, they're great, but the ones that get hired by these people all seem to suck.
Well, whoever did the graphics package for that last Square Enix E3 thing did a fantastic job. Remember when they had all the transitions in between games and stuff, and it was the cool like little graphics packages and stuff? Yeah, that was great stuff, man. They're doing great work.
Use that creativity.
Where's the creativity, man? We're video games, man. We are the most innovative industry in the world right now. Like, what is happening?
Well, that's just... Yeah, it just happens, and no one's... It's just kind of coming. You kind of got to accept it, because you can't change it.
You're right.
No one's gonna... And it seems like, even with fan outcry, nothing's ever done about it.
I mean, how much outcry are we really getting out of this, you know?
Not that
who really cares? But it's just kind of a thing of like, all right, that's a move. Well, I wouldn't have made that call. Mm-hmm. Speaking of calls I wouldn't make, Connor.
Oh, yeah?
Let's dip into your second penny here. China further tightens restrictions on violence, sexuality, and choice in gaming. Another Destructoid argument, again by Chris Moyes. All titles must present, quote, correct set of values. China continues to tighten restrictions around the video game industry, according to an internal governmental memo reportedly leaked to the South China Morning Post. All titles submitted for licensing will be required to meet new and stricter guidelines in regards to the moralistic values and representation of China's history and philosophy. According to the memo, as reported by GamesIndustry.biz, developers' wares can no longer be considered pure entertainment and will be reviewed by regulators for possible red flag content. Examples noted include law violation, the leaking of state secrets, superstitious beliefs, the glorification of violence, false narratives around history and historical figures, and the encouragement of self-harm. Perhaps the strictest regulations, however, refer to both player choice and sexuality/gender. Quote, some games have blurred moral boundaries, reads the memo reportedly. Players can choose to be either good or evil, but we don't think that games should give players that choice. And this must be altered. If regulars can't tell the character's gender immediately, the setting of the characters could be considered problematic and red flags be raised. These new restrictions come as part of a major crackdown on video games in China, a pastime previously described by the country's ministers as spiritual opium. The new moral code will join previously implemented mandates and laws including time restrictions on younger players, facial recognition logins for mobile titles, and purposefully extended waiting periods for game classification. Additionally, the country has banned under 16s from live streaming. So, this is another chapter in a story that we've been covering now for probably about a month and a half.
Yeah, it's recent developments.
We covered the crackdown on limited online play. We covered the crackdown on minors playing video games for how long they can play video games and so forth. And you know, sort of the restrictive freedoms in that. And now it's extended into artistic expression.
I'm struggling to think of what games can be played in China now because, you know, you could, like, these things are pretty expansive. You could justify something like not representing historical figures properly to anything.
What does that mean?
Yeah, what does that mean?
You know, God of War 2018 takes many liberties with Norse and Greek mythology. Mm-hmm. So what do we do with that now? You know?
And
is that historical? Does China care about that? Does China not want that influence on there because it you know, it quote unquote leads them away from the path of their own historical beliefs and traditions, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Like, where is the line here?
It sounds to me more and more that the attempt by the Chinese government is to try and use games as a form of propaganda. Because now they want to say things like, if you violate law, in the game you violate laws of China, that can be banned. Leaking state secrets, which could be like you can even accidentally do something in a game, and then have the Chinese government say, oh, that's related somehow to some secret we got going on, so you're going to be arrested or fined or whatnot, even though you had no clue of any state secrets existing in the first place. And then finally, you, of course, have superstitious beliefs. I mean, you're pretty much canceling out probably many other cultures' video games, because superstitious beliefs differ depending on which country you go to, which continent you go to. Yeah. So what might be superstitious in one area might be a reality to some in one area. It's very vague.
It's just a restriction of education and being able to educate yourself on other cultures and ideals, and it's a restriction of artistic expression. If you're a Chinese developer, like, I cannot imagine how hard it must be to make a game now.
No, I know. What games will be taken off, because they already have a bunch of games that probably violate many of those rules.
So it's just like, and it's, you know, it's unfortunate that this is happening over there, and, you know, thoughts and prayers to to all these people and kids, and like, come on, man, like. Mm-hmm. It's just like these are not things that we need to be. And I understand like this is a different culture and a different mindset, but to me it just feels like brainwashing. It feels like this is too much. It's way too much. I mean, we covered it the last couple of times like it was too much, and this is like, whoa, like
even a step further than we thought they would ever go. I didn't
shit.
expect them to do this. I thought it was just an anti-homophobia, trying to protect the youth kind of thing.
And not to mention that's in there too. There's some transphobia in here, like it's all over here. But like in some games, players can choose to be either good or evil. We don't think games should give players this choice. What does that even mean?
Are you neutral? Are you good? Are you?
Yeah,
I'm assuming not
what is
evil.
good? What is good and evil to you? Like, and then like, can you imagine like all of the things that have like all the themes and ideas that have been explored in games so far, like the idea of Mass Effect, what is good and evil, like that entire trilogy plays with that idea. Mm-hmm. Infamous is a little more hardline. You're either good or you're evil in that game, or like
almost any RPG, really.
Any RPG that has any semblance of choice. The Last of Us Part 2 plays with a lot of these ideas of like, like what is too much? When have you lost yourself in your own thing? Like these are ideas and expressions that we all need to explore.
Last of Us Part 2 is not going to be playable in China.
Absolutely
this.
fucking
this
not.
Ticks off almost every box, I think. A lot of the boxes. And one really sneaky thing that they're doing is they're lessening the restrictions the older you get. So, face recognition, streaming below 16, it's usually age restricted because they know that if you're a kid and you don't get into stuff.
At that point, they've got you.
Yeah, because you don't get into it in the first place, so you're never going to get into it when you grow older.
Exactly.
They're suffocating it before it can grow.
100%. And then just like this regulation on character gender identity and like if you can't like. All right, that automatically knocks out almost every Japanese game.
Oh yeah, there's like I'm hard pressed to think of any game that doesn't have some sort of effeminate man in there.
Exactly,
that would obviously disqualify it from this kind of stuff.
Super unfortunate, man. Yeah, just kind of gross it's super gross to see. And I wish it could be done better, but we're stuck over here in the States where shit's still fucked here. But
we don't deal with that.
Though they do try. Moving on. Final topic of the day. Connor?
Here's the part you've been waiting for.
Here's the part that I've been waiting for. I've been fucking jonesing to talk about this for days now, Connor. I haven't said anything to you. We've had no communication about this. I dropped one little image and some excitement in the group chat, and that was it.
That's how I knew you were excited, because you did it. We have our own group chat where we pitch our ideas, and then you have our just friend group chat, and you felt the need to put it in there.
Yeah,
so obviously you wanted everyone to know.
We have a two pennies group chat, and then we just got our fuck around group chat, and I was excited in the fuck around group chat. Connor! We're going to start really excited, and then we're going to calm down. We're going to think about this realistically. But let's get into the news here. VGC, Andy Robinson. Konami is set to revive Metal Gear, Castlevania, and Silent Hill. Konami is set to ramp up its premium game development with new installments and remakes for its biggest franchises, including Metal Gear and Castlevania. That's according to publishing sources who spoke to VGC anonymously because they did not have permission to discuss their projects publicly. Konami's premium games output has slowed down significantly in recent years. The last new Metal Gear game was 2018's critically panned Metal Gear Survive, while the last mainline Castlevania release was 2014's Lord of Shadow 2. In the past decade, the company has arguably grown a bigger reputation for its pachinko gambling games than for its premium PC and console releases. However, following a restructure for the company's game development divisions earlier this year, Konami is now focused on bringing back its biggest brands to the premium games space, VGC was told. The first of these titles will be a new Castlevania game, which sources described as a reimagining of the series currently in development internally at Konami in Japan, with support from local external studios. There's been much speculation that Demon Souls studio Bluepoint could be working on a remake of Metal Gear Solid. However, VGC was told the series is actually being worked on by an external studio, Virtuos. Established in 2004, Virtuos is one of the largest gaming developers in the world and focuses on supporting the development of major AAA games or bringing existing games to new platforms. Recently, Connor, we were just talking about this, it worked on the Switch ports of Dark Souls Remastered, The Outer Worlds, and the BioShock collection, as well as contributing art and content to blockbusters such as Battlefield 1, Uncharted 4, and Horizon Zero Dawn. The new project is currently in early development, and multiple sources suggested that it could be centered around fan-favorite entry Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, rather than the original MGS. Konami also intends to release remasters of the original Metal Gear Solid games for modern consoles, ahead of the larger project We Understand. Finally, multiple Silent Hill games are currently in development at various external development studios, as per an earlier VGC report from February. One of these projects was outsourced to a prominent Japanese developer earlier this year, we were told. Konami should publicly showcase its plans at major shows next year, disruption from the pandemic permitting. Konami pulled out of this year's E3 2021 show due to timing issues, although at the time it confirmed it had a number of key projects in the works. Konami's Japanese bosses are understood to have historically pushed back against most pitches to outsource its key game brands. What are you doing over there?
I was on the article, and I just started blaring.
Get out of here. Get out of here with this noise. Anyways, which is a big reason why previous pitches for Silent Hill games, such as one by Until Dawn studio Supermassive, weren't greenlit. However, following its disappointing performance of recent in-house titles Metal Gear Survive and Contra Rogue Core, VGC sources said the company has become more willing to contract outside studios for its major franchises. VGC first reported Konami's softening of its stance over licensing its game properties earlier this year, which I believe we spoke on this show, in a report revealing that the company had outsourced a new Silent Hill game. We did talk about this. Last year, Konami ramped up its game efforts with the creation of a new external publishing program, with which it hoped to sign more Western-developed titles. So, too long, didn't read. Konami said, listen, we fucked up. We're out of the game. Kojima took all of our best developers. So now we're just giving it out. We're giving everything out to everybody.
Yes.
You guys want these games. We want to make money. You're willing to spend money on this shit. Here, everybody else who's better at this shit, go make our shit for us. Let's start with the thing that I'm less of a fan of, just personally, because I just haven't had as much experience with. Because obviously here I'm the big Metal Gear Solid guy.
Metal Gear Solid 3 specifically
on this podcast, specifically MGS3, my favorite video game of all time. But let's start with Castlevania. We haven't had a Castlevania game since 2014, to which I think was kind of okay. If I understand the hubbub on the end, I don't know much about it.
I think the Lord of Shadow 1 game was well received.
Lord of Shadow 1 I think was well received. I think Kojima had something to do with that one too.
Oh.
Lord of Shadow 2 I think was like, it's good, it's just not as, it's fine.
Yeah, probably.
I think. Probably didn't get many sales, which is why we haven't had one since. But a reimagining for that's cool. That's exciting. It's an outsourced studio. It's not handled specifically by Konami. I think that's a good step, but, it's still Konami's game. They've got all the publishing rights. They're, big publisher, yada, 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 so they could still muck it all up. This is Konami.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen. But I think it's still exciting to, theorize and think about, oh man, this legacy franchise which built an entire genre of video games that has been dormant for many years could potentially come back in a big and, bold way.
Mm-hmm.
That's exciting. Silent Hill, infamously a Kojima project that got canned.
Everyone was sad about that.
Yeah, I think, we spoke, when the last time we spoke about it, I believe there's like 2 or 3 projects in the works by a number of different developers. I'm trying to remember the big one. It's the guys who did The Medium this year.
I'll look it up.
Xbox The Medium. I cannot remember the name of the studio. That's who they're working on a Silent Hills project right now. Or at least that's what the rumor has been. And it's like one of those rumors that it's probably going to happen.
Bluepoint.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. That's exactly it. Yeah, Bluepoint is working on this Silent Hill. The Medium seems it was received okay, not great. Lots of 7s, if I remember correctly. It seemed like to be an okay Xbox game. Not one to scoff at, but not exactly one to uphold as one of the greatest of all time. And
Right.
Silent Hill is a franchise that innovated so much on the horror genre in video games that you want definitely your one of your goats to handle that. Maybe Bluepoint can step it up and really produce something fantastic there. Then all the other Silent Hill stuff, hopefully we get some cool stuff going with that as well.
One of my questions is, with the game that was dropped by Kojima, or rather, Konami stepped in and screwed up the entire situation.
The Silent Hills
Yes,
with
Silent Hills.
Norman Reedus. Yes.
Do you think they would use any kind of assets from that game to
No.
make Silent Hill? You think they completely
I don't
scrapped
think
it?
I don't think anything. I think all Kojima had was PT and that trailer.
You think so?
Yeah, because he was in the midst of working on Phantom Pain. That game came out half finished. So yeah, I don't think. And Kojima is a perfectionist.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't think. I think he's even admitted, or in the lead up to Death Stranding, he was like, "Listen, like, I've got a level of quality that I'm not letting this game out until it hits that level of quality. But it like I'm jonesing to get a game out, you know. So like I would argue Death Stranding like is not the masterpiece." Or is not the full thing that he envisioned. And granted, that's game development. You lose concepts and ideas. You got to cut things for budgeting purposes and so forth. But you know, you get my point.
Right.
So yeah, I don't think there's anything saved in that Silent Hills stuff. I'm trying to remember. I want to say it was the Fox engine that game was going to be in.
It was. I remember that was the big. I remember because I think it was one of the things that appeared on like the initial reveal, like at the end of the trailer. It showed like
Maybe
Fox engine or something like that.
Maybe, yeah. But I mean, that's still such a loss that we should have gotten. But you know, time passes and we move on. And then here we go. So Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, all right, is my favorite video game of all time. I personally don't think it necessarily needs a full ground up remake. Other than visually, I think that game holds up pretty damn well.
It does. It does. I remember playing it a while ago. Not as recent as you have, but
yeah.
It played well enough. I would probably not be surprised if I picked it up today and played with it fine.
And it's still playable and moderately accessible if you can get your hands on an Xbox or a PlayStation 3, any form of Xbox, of course, Xbox One. I want to say, I don't know if it's on Game Pass. Let me check to see if the Metal Gear Solid Collection is on Game Pass. I don't think it is. But yeah, there's ways to play MGS2, MGS3, and Peace Walker. So there's that. It's really Metal Gear Solid 1. I do think is in more need of a remake than Metal Gear Solid 3. However, it was also they spoke about it in this, right? Yes, Konami also intends to release remasters of the original Metal Gear Solid games for modern consoles ahead of the later projects. We understand. Honestly, that excites me more than the announcement of a remake of Snake Eater.
Well, it didn't say a remake. It said it was going to be centered around the fan favorite game. So it honestly,
the new project is.
It couldn't. It may
no,
not be
no. It's a Metal Gear Solid 3 remake. I don't know where you're getting it.
It just didn't specifically say remake. It said centered around. It was
that specific
more vague
sentence.
about that.
But no, it's a full remake. Or at least it's supposed to be a full remake. I don't know where it is because that's the hubbub on the internet too. And then multiple sources saying remake. There's been speculation Demon Soul Studio Bluepoint could be working on a remake of Metal Gear Solid. However, VGC has told the series it's actually been working on Virtuous. By Virtuous. And then it goes into Virtuous's thing and then said the new project is currently... Yeah, this is a remake for
okay.
MGS3, my friend. And then remasters of... I imagine 1, 2, 3, 4.
Think they do anything with 4?
Maybe Peace Walker? Well, 4 is trapped on PlayStation 3. I imagine they do. I imagine they at least do. I imagine they at least do the numbered titles.
It is harder to get
up to 5. I imagine you don't do 5, but like 1 through 4, I imagine you do, and then maybe Peace Walker. I mean, what type of remasters are we talking here?
Yeah.
Like, what are these remasters? Are we getting? And how are we getting them? Is it one big package? Is it you're releasing each individual game? What are we talking about? What level of remaster are we talking about? Are we getting graphics updates, frame rate updates? What's happening here? Metal Gear Solid 2 ran at 60 FPS on PlayStation 2 because it was simplified. They had to they could only do 30 FPS on PlayStation 2 for MGS3 because it was more complex environments and they couldn't, keep the level of fidelity up for the anyways.
You got to factor in those forests. A lot of forests.
Mm-hmm. So like what are we getting there? When you say remasters, like, are we doing like the Halo Combat Evolved anniversary like type shit where we're re-upping all of the things for the first 2 or 3 games, and then Metal Gear Solid 4 is just a better fidelity and higher frame rates and better resolutions and stuff? Like, what type of package are we getting here?
There's a lot of different avenues they could take, which, I mean, I don't know how much longer this would be till it comes out, because they're announcing multiple things.
Well, here, I would imagine we get these remasters before we get the MGS3 Snake Eater remake. In which case, do you even bother with a Snake Eater remaster? You know? Or do you just say, you get 1, you get 2, you get 4, wait for the remake? You know? I don't want that. I want the original game on the new shit. And I want my cake and I want to eat it too, Connor. That's basically what it is.
You've been wanting that first Metal Gear to be remade rather than just.
I would rather the first one personally be remade, because I do think Snake Eater holds up. Like, even visually, like that, there are very beautiful moments in that game. Granted, dated. It's a game from 2004, so like it does look blocky. You know, you see the polygons.
2004. I thought it came out earlier than that.
No, 2004.
Oh, okay.
And what was I doing over here? Oh, I forgot to finish my Metal Gear for Game Pass. I don't think it's on here.
It probably isn't.
It's not. No. Brought up Ark Survival Evolved for some reason.
That's not that.
No. Anyways, granted, that is only that's Game Pass for PC that I was looking at. Maybe it's on the console version, but I doubt it.
No, it's very disappointing when I think about this.
Connor?
Remember, there was that team, that independent team that was remaking the original Metal Gear Solid.
Metal Gear Solid, yeah.
And unfortunately, they did the thing where they advertised it too much and got the attention of Konami, who promptly shut it down.
Yeah.
Obviously, they probably hadn't had the idea of remastering and remaking and doing all of this at that time, but it's disappointing to know that those people put all that work in there for, if that was going on around this time, they probably would have worked for them, allowed them to do it if they gave some kind of payment to Konami, but now we won't get
Konami, man, I doubt it.
No,
I doubt any of that would have happened. It's Konami.
You think they would have just said, screw you either way, because they didn't do it without their permission from the first place?
Yeah, it's not your property. You don't have the rights for that, so, you know. I mean, that's the bitter, like, just truth of it. Do we get a Twin Snakes remaster, Connor? Are we getting a remaster of the okay remake of the first game?
I don't know.
It's a weird remake, dude.
I don't know.
It's a weird remake.
I don't even know what the difference is between that and the first one, the original.
It's Metal Gear Solid 1 with MGS2 gameplay. And it breaks a bunch of levels and several boss fights.
That's kind of expected when you take the mechanics of one game and put it
into the level design of another game. Like literally, like the first like real ops. Well, that's not true. I assume you're familiar with the intro to Metal Gear Solid, where you did the swimming and
I've seen it. Yeah, I saw you play.
And then you go around in the little elevator room, and then you come up, and it's that big open field and stuff. And then you get into the base, and then now you're like actually in the game.
I've seen you go all the way to the fight with Psycho Mantis, because it was a long while ago.
Oh, really?
You played through all of that, and then you're like, we'll stop. Because you were running through it fast, and we were doing something else, but I haven't actually played the game.
What a classic game. What a classic game. We need to get you to play this game, Connor.
The original?
Yeah, man, it's fucking phenomenal. I've got a PlayStation 1 Classic right there. It's on my PlayStation 3. It's on my PlayStation Vita.
Well, After Village.
Take literally any one of these things.
Well, I won't do it on my own time. I got too much stuff to do, Tavin. I'm a busy bee. I got to play video games.
How much of that original story do you know?
I think most of it.
You think?
I think so. I don't. I know that like the villain, Liquid Snake, is the guy that you're talking to. It's Miller. He's like, it's me all along.
That's an unfortunate twist that you know.
Yeah,
that's a great twist. Oh, it's such a good twist.
I don't know who Gray Fox is. I know he's some person.
You don't know about Gray Fox?
I know about Gray Fox. I just know he gets unveiled to be some character that Snake knew at some point, I think.
I'm not going to give you anything.
Yeah, I guess you wouldn't.
I mean, granted, like, it's tied to the first Metal Gear in Metal Gear 2, but, like, that, those little things and stuff. Give us remakes for those. Why the fuck not?
They won't.
They won't.
No.
Maybe that's Bluepoint's game. Is Metal Gear from the MSX.
You really do want your cake, and you want to eat
I want to eat all my cake, man.
Yeah,
man, fuck it. Give me 1, give me 2, give me 3 remasters, give me Twin Snakes remastered, give me MGS4, give me fucking Peace Walker. Fuck it, give me Portable Ops.
Give me Rising Revengeance. Huh?
Yeah, where does that go? Are we getting Rising Revengeance too?
I'm assuming not. Well, actually.
Of the original Metal Gear Solid games. Maybe not.
No.
But would be dope.
That would be cool. There's room open for a second game, believe it or not.
I don't think Konami owns that game, though.
They probably don't. Platinum Games did it,
game.
so...
Yeah, Platinum did it. I think it's tied up with somebody else. Mm-hmm. So I think the rights are weird there. But, like, what do we get? And then now let's get into the fucking... We're dealing with Konami here, all right? We're dealing with asshole pachinko machine, fucking give me your money grubbing Konami here.
Mm-hmm.
So what form do these remasters really take place? Ideally, it's one big package. 4 to 5 great games that, you pay your $70 for. That makes sense to me, right?
Right.
4 games, each about 10 to 15 hours long. I mean, if Peace Walker, you can put 60 hours in easy.
There's a lot of extra content in that game.
A lot of extra content in Peace Walker. I think. I'm trying to remember.
Basically
MGS4 is probably about 15 hours.
Okay.
Yeah, and they all range from 10 to 15 hours, somewhere around there. If you're watching all the cutscenes, of course, because if you're in the first Metal Gear Solid game, you can beat that game in 4 hours, easy. If you just start skipping cutscenes and fucking beeline that bitch.
Yeah. Which normal first-time players wouldn't be.
You're not doing that. You're taking in the story, you get cutscenes, the music, all of that. You're getting the experience. So, like, or is it we remaster the first game and we put it out. Okay, what is the pricing structure of that? $40? $50?
Are they going to go with the new $70 model?
$70 for each fucking remaster? Go fuck yourself. I'm not paying $70 for those
package
games.
Would make sense with $70, but not...
Yeah,
that.
Individually, that's why I'm like, okay, where does that price range?
And it is Konami.
And how much of a remaster are we talking? How much work are you really putting in? Is this just a simple port? Is it... Are you giving it some polish to where it looks a little nicer, maybe a little less fuzzy from the CRTV days?
It'd be really, really funny.
Is it just ports of the Bluepoint games? What are they?
Maybe we get like when they unveil it at some show or whatever, they show the new game, looks basically the same as the old one, and then they do a side-by-side comparison, and it's just like different lighting. Maybe you can see the eyes more, like maybe they're more designed.
Right.
I don't know if they could,
exactly.
they would do that.
Like, what is this?
Yeah.
I don't know. How deep into this are we going? Who's working on it? Konami, it's not said. It's just Konami intends to release it. I assume it's also going to be third-party studios or whatever, unless it's just a port. It might just be a port with some like polish on it, and they might do the lazy Nintendo thing of like, look, it's better looking, and you're like, there's fan mods that look better than this.
Yeah,
but whatever. And it's just and pricing structure is the real thing that bothers me, man. How are you delivering these games to me?
Mm-hmm.
If you give me 4 to 5 games for $70, I'll take that, and it's light work, mostly just, I imagine you do 2 and 3, and if you even bother with Peace Walker, you just port the Bluepoint remasters of those. 4, you just up-res and hopefully give a better frame rate, and then port that. That makes sense to me. Take out those fucking loading screens. And then 1, what do you do with 1? What are we doing with 1? Are
loading screens really in that game? Or is it more
4?
seamless? And 1.
No.
I was curious. Okay.
It's the classic, you enter a thing and then it goes black and then it comes back and it's
so
text of your location. And it's the structure of the first 3 games are pretty much exactly the same.
Okay, yeah.
It's 4 where it's like you load into a level and there's pretty much no loading screens while you're in that level outside of there are a couple of areas broken up in which the screen goes back and then comes back up, but for the most part, it's pretty seamless. And then cutscenes, of course. You trip over one every 30 seconds. But when you finish an act, when you finish a mission, quote unquote, there is, in the original PS4 game, there's a quote unquote installing bit. Where it's really just a loading screen where it takes 2 minutes and you sit there and you watch old Snake smoke a cigarette.
I've seen that, yep.
And it's the most fucking... And the game tells you to go take a break. Mm-hmm. And they're like, you've been playing for a long time. Go take a walk. And I'm like, fuck you, Kojima. Get the fuck out of here.
Hey, he cares about your health. Don't insult him like that. He didn't need to put that in there. He could have made you waste your life away playing his game. But he wants to let you know there's better things in the world than Metal Gear Solid.
Kojima, I want to waste my life away playing your game. Well, Kojima didn't want to make that game, so...
Please don't play this game. Don't support it so I can stop making
And then we sit back and we think, and we go, man, Konami really fucked up MGS5, man. They really burned us on Silent Hills, man. How much do we really want to support these guys with this?
They also made Survive, which
was a slap in the face to anybody who's ever picked up a controller.
Oh, yeah. So who knows if they're actually going to be successful. It really does hinge on how they're going to oversee everything. Because thankfully, other studios doing more of the legwork will probably result in better things than what Konami would make on their own. Also at a greater rate, considering multiple people are working on multiple games. but they could just completely slave drive them and just command almost everything.
100%.
Which Konami, I wouldn't be surprised if they did do that.
The most realistic ideal situation that I can think of is you give us 1, 2, and 3. That's one package, $70. Okay, 2 and 3 are probably just the Bluepoint remakes. 1, maybe there's an up-res. Hopefully, it's improved in some type of way or something to where it is a better way to play that game. Doubtful though. It's probably just a port, and it's probably the PC version of that port, anyways. Which would be disappointing, but we'll take that. That's a realistic thing that I could see happening. And then give us 4 Peace Walker and maybe Rising Revengeance. Bam, another $70 there. Second package comes out a year later.
The external Metal Gear Solid games, the outside of the mainline game.
Well, 4 and Peace Walker are mainline games.
4 is. Fuck.
Yeah. and Peace Walker. Well, Peace Walker is mainline.
It's canonical.
You don't understand.
It's canonical.
5 doesn't make any fucking sense if you haven't played Peace Walker. Granted, 5 doesn't make any fucking sense regardless.
The language. I want to infect.
Shut the fuck up. God, I hate that game. And I love that game at the same time.
It plays amazingly.
It plays fantastic, man. It's so good to play. Story is shit. Anyways, but yeah, so like that makes sense to me. Those packages make sense, right? That's a one where you get your money grubbing, but you're not like screwing us completely over, right?
I can see that, but the thing that always tickles the back of my mind, obviously, is it's Konami, and they know there's a market for these kinds of games, so they could just do them separately if they wish. And they can make more money.
I would believe that too. I would even see a world where they drop literally all of them all at once, and you have to pay $20 to $30 for each of them. Oh, and there's no concise package of give me them all. I would pay $100 for a complete package.
And that's what they're relying on. They're relying on you.
And I'm not alone. But I would pay $100 for a complete package.
But then they've already got you there because now they know you're willing to spend a lot of money.
I'm not. But Connor, that's 5 games, because I'm assuming we're not getting Rising Revengeance.
No. Probably not.
Realistically, probably only 4 games. Because we're probably not going to get Peace Walker, but we should get Peace Walker. That's 5 games, most of which they didn't put any work into. The one game that needs the most work, they're probably going to put minimal work into anyways. For $100, 10 to 15 hours each, 30 plus for Peace Walker, and they're some of the greatest video games of all time. That's not worth $100? They are
not to me.
The MGS2,
I wouldn't buy them like
MGS 2 and 3. I would even argue 1, but 1 is very old. Mm-hmm. 2 and 3 are undeniably some of the greatest video games of all time, and they still hold up today. Where is the problem here? With some of the most masterful storytelling video game has seen to date.
It did kickstart the whole idea of more narrative in games.
Exactly.
More than most games did.
Dude, Metal Gear Solid 1 alone kickstarted voice acting in video games that meant something. Mm-hmm. Before that you have Resident Evil.
Oh, yeah.
You are almost a Jill sandwich. But Castlevania. Die, monster. You don't belong in this world. And then Metal Gear is you're questioning what is war, what is self-choice and fate, and is your fate tied to who you're born as or who you choose to be? Mm-hmm. Like those are heavy themes that aren't really handled in games of that era. There's a couple examples. Final Fantasy kind of toys around in that element, some of those, Japanese RPGs kind of play around in those elements, but they don't have voice acting tied to it. And these and they're good actors too. Maybe a little overacting in some of the accents are a little questionable.
Mm-hmm. Liquid. Doesn't he have an accent?
Liquid does have an accent, but I was thinking more Mei Ling.
Okay.
But but for the most part, everybody's acting is pretty good, pretty damn good, and it's still a story that I think is still fun to experience. A lot of talking at the codec, though. A lot of codec calls.
Maybe could they cut down on those, you think?
No, you keep it all in there. Absolutely do not cut a single fucking thing.
Oh, I'm not saying, from a trying to capture the essence of the original game perspective, more like to make it more flow better, so you're not constantly getting paused for random dialogue. Because I don't know how important a lot of the codex conversations are. Are they usually like pretty important to the story?
Pretty important. I mean, some of it's redundant because Kojima repeats himself a lot. But,
okay.
You know, but that's, you know, just Kojima's poor writing. Kojima's not the most excellent writer, but he managed to tap in and produce some of the most phenomenal video games of all time. And, you know, I just don't know. I don't know. And then, Connor, you have played Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater.
Yes, and a little bit of 2. A lot of 2, actually.
And we're going to finish this penny here. We're going to finish this topic in this penny here, and then we're going to get into what we've been playing, which hasn't been much anyway. But, Connor, as someone who has played Snake Eater once and had a really good time with it and enjoyed it, how did you feel, or what would you want from an MGS3 remake?
Honestly, just updated graphics. That's all I would really need. I mean, I don't know what... as far as gameplay would go, I don't know how you would change it and still make it play relatively the same way. Because I guess they could go the Metal Gear Solid 5 route, where you're just... You're sprinting through the jungle and diving and doing the Metal Gear Solid 5 stuff that you did in an MGS3 setting.
I think it's inventory. Like, Phantom Pain specifically limits your inventory to where you have one sidearm, an assault rifle, and then another secondary weapon of like a sniper rifle or a rocket launcher or something, and then like you have a couple of grenades, you got a couple of gadgets, and that's it.
They could potentially do that. How would they introduce ways to change that out? Would you just pick up weapons? Would there be some kind of save area? I mean, if it was a remake, I can see them adding something like that.
And you're dealing with the whole stamina system in 3? Like, what?
You'd eat food.
You gotta eat food. I don't think that game is the same game without that system.
No,
you know?
because it's like kind of has a survival mechanic to it. Yeah. It's not as forefront as some other mechanics in the game.
But that game gets dinged a lot for how much you have to dig through the menus for camouflage and for food and for inventory management.
Yeah, remembering that, I remember that was always a pain because it would slow things down. It would stop the game and you'd be like...
Yeah.
And then you have to... I think, wouldn't you go all the way down using a up and down analog and then you have to go to the right and left for other things too?
No, it was a inter-menu, exit menu.
Oh, okay.
Way of things. So you had to like... You would go into... You would pause the game, scroll down like 2, go into camouflage. Do you want face camouflage or body camouflage? Body camouflage. Scroll down because it starts at the top, and there's a couple of useless ones right there at the top, and you got to scroll down to the fucking the leaf thing that's like 5 or 6 slots down. Click X on that.
Remembering that now.
Click circle. Go back up to face. Put some woodland face paint on your face. Close out. Close out again. Oh shit, I'm hungry. Scroll down 3. Food. Scroll down to the most delicious food in your thing. You've been collecting animals for the last 10 hours. You've got 20 items in your inventory. You got and you want to eat a calorie mate, so you got to scroll all the way down to the calorie mate. You know, so like I understand the complaint. It just doesn't. It personally doesn't bother me.
But I could see them streamlining that to make it more simplified, not have to go through all that kind of stuff.
Dude, I mean, I guess you could do that. Most modern UIs have tabs.
Yeah,
that's what I would scroll through with the bumpers, and you would play around with that. I could see that. Even Phantom Pain has that type of system.
I can see Phantom Pain could serve as a good example of what they would do.
Of how to start. Yeah. I mean, I could see it, but then my thing is like, okay, what do we do? Phantom Pain gameplay, or do we try to stick to the originals gameplay?
See, I think we should stick to the originals gameplay because that makes.
Then what do we do with control schemes? Do we still do the item and the weapon menus where you bring those up and you scroll through your 8 items for 8?
Well, that
you know what I'm talking
about whether they actually keep those they keep all those guns available to you at all times.
Yeah, but that's classic Metal Gear Solid. Those things, you know? How classic do we want to be? Do we want to innovate? How much of a remake are we talking? You know, are we Resident Evil 2 level where we're pretty much remaking the entire game and it's an entirely new game, but we're keeping a lot of these same systems like inventory management to kind of give you that same experience, but just in a new version, a new way, in which case I can see how you can very quickly oh shit, dude.
Realize
something? Fuck, dude, no. And then you make it to where... Oh, fuck. Okay, I think I've cracked it, alright? Okay. So everything is in Snake's quote-unquote backpack, right? We keep this backpack system.
Okay.
Alright. Maybe you keep it into a UI. You don't, like, have an animation of him pulling out the backpack. Because in Phantom Pain, he pulls out the iDroid, and then he circles through the iDroid. And then if you want a loadout change, you have to call in a helicopter drop and do that. And you gotta wait for the drop to come in and all that. No, don't do any of that. But If you want to get real fancy, make it animations where he's digging through the backpack.
And you bring out the bazooka.
And you like a Mary Poppins bag, suddenly you have an RPG on your back.
You can it's one of the ones that collapse, it's extendable, it's modern. That's how you streamline it.
Okay, maybe you don't do that. That's a lot of work. Or maybe it's like, he opens up a pocket, and then a UI pops up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but then would that necessarily work for the setting? Because it is Cold War era.
Cold War
stuff.
60s. Maybe you don't even bother, and you just do a classic like God of War, like just bring the fucking thing up and have it. You have your tabs, but the game is still playing in the background. You're not pausing the game, so you got to move quickly, through your things to keep that tension up of applying your camouflage, and then like if you tried to keep it all in animations, do you show him changing? Don't show him changing. Just pull up the UI and fucking hit X, and then now he's wearing that.
Yeah, you don't see the transformation
because you have to keep the camouflage system, and you can't have the Octo camo from Metal Gear Solid 4 where you just stay still for a second.
That'd be bad.
That'd be bad. That wouldn't make any sense. 1960s. Also, I don't like the Octo camo. That's an unpopular opinion. I think the Octo camo makes things too easy.
Mm-hmm. You like your challenge in your
I like my challenge in my stealth games and just being in an environment where you don't have the perfect camo, but you have to make do.
In that game, wasn't it just as long as you stayed out of the enemy's path, they pretty much didn't see you because you would just change into everything? Yeah.
It's too easy.
Yeah.
It's too easy. You got mad gadgets. Granted, guards are way more aware of everything in 4 than other games. Anyways, so you do that. The game plays in the background, so you got to dig through your menus quickly. You can't like dilly-dally around or whatever. You got to make sure you're in a safe area if you want to eat a snake. Maybe we do have an animation of him eating snakes, because that was something that they did toy around with in the first game, where like a little video, if you ate a certain number of snakes, a little video would play of him eating a snake.
All right.
Which was cute. But maybe it's like yo, I got to eat this snake real quick, and then that takes time.
Like a bar comes up and you have to you munch down on the snake, and then once that's over, you're done.
Then like even with like your moment to moment inventory, we can keep it the exact same as Phantom Pain, where it's just on the D-pad and you select really quickly. But you do have to dig into your backpack and change your things out. And granted, like there's a lot of guns in Snake Eater that you don't need, but it's cool that it's there. Like there's 2 different types of assault rifles. You don't use assault rifles in Snake Eater.
I tried
outside of some boss fights, maybe.
I think it was good in the boss fight. Pretty sure. I don't know I don't know what I used.
No, you should not be using guns. That's a very specific. And then how do we do the boss fights in CQC? CQC. Oh fuck! I didn't even think about CQC.
You see, that's why I think it'd be better just to keep it in the same kind of gameplay style. Just update. Well, you'd have to make some changes. So I don't know how.
I don't know how
CQC
some changes,
would work,
man.
Yeah.
Well, my thing is like.
You might have to overhaul certain aspects of the game.
The CQC in Phantom Pain is so easy and so simplified, and in Snake Eater, it's surprisingly deep. Like, it's still simple, but it's deep. Like, there are a number of different moves that if you don't really know your controls, you have no idea they're in the game. Whereas, like, in Phantom Pain, he just does everything for you. You just keep pressing the button, he does it for you. Which is kind of lame.
Dude, you would take out so many massive groups of enemies just by pressing the melee.
Yeah, and that ruins the final boss with the boss. Because that's, a way to play that is with just straight up CQC fighting hand to hand.
Yeah.
And then you can even apply this. We can even we can go back and do a Metal Gear Solid 1 remake and reapply with some. There's so many different ways we could go, and we're not going to get it. It's just going to be a prettier version of fucking Snake Eater, which would be cool. I saw some things that they are going to be reusing assets from their pachinko machine cutscene remakes and
people
stuff.
Said they look great.
They do look great. They do look a little old now.
But they can update those.
Yeah, they can. I mean, they can. Yeah, make it better. But yeah, using some of those cutscenes and stuff, would be nice. What do we do with voicing? Do we keep the same voice lines? Do we bring the cast back?
Didn't David Hayter have like a relatively good relationship with Konami? Because I know Kojima didn't want him anymore.
Couldn't tell you.
Correct. No,
he voices Snake for Smash Brothers.
I guess that would make sense if he did do that instead then. Because, I mean, I don't know if they're trying to make the original experience as satisfying to old fans, it would make sense for them to bring back voice actors that are still around and willing to do those roles.
Don't even bother if you're not bringing David Hayter back. Or using Hayter's voice. Don't even fucking bother.
Kiefer Sutherland.
No.
Why not?
Absolutely not. There's no way Sutherland would come back. No way, no.
I'm surprised they got him for Phantom Pain.
I'm not. They do this every once in a while. They just did it with fucking Daisy Ridley and Willem Dafoe with 12 minutes.
They did. I completely skipped my mind that those characters. I didn't even know Willem Dafoe was in the bad guy role until you told me
he's
when you were talking about your game. Yeah,
I think he does a good job. I like it.
He's a good actor, but not
good actor. I mean, it's Willem Dafoe.
Yeah,
it is Willem Dafoe. You know it's Willem Dafoe when you play it. Anyways, there's so much that is so exciting to me as a Snake Eater fanatic, and I'm struggling to just juggle. What do we change for quality of life to modernize this game to make it more accessible for everybody else? And what do we keep the same? And I don't have the answers to these questions. No. I mean, there are certain things in that game that you have to do perfectly. The sorrow, you can't change how the sorrow functions. Mm-hmm. You can't. It has to work that way.
They wouldn't make him into a big boss fight where you shoot him a bunch.
Do not make me shoot the sorrow.
No.
Also, slight spoilers. If I don't kill anybody, the sorrow fight should be fucking or the sorrow, moment should be a fucking cakewalk. Because that's kind of the whole fucking point of the sorrow moment, is you reflect on the choices you've made in game, and it's literally like what The Last of Us 2 was trying to say, and some people felt came off as preachy. Metal Gear Solid 3 did that in 2004 perfectly. Mm-hmm. It's probably also what do you do with the weird sex stuff with Eva? Eva's a strange character.
You give it full penetration. That is the goal. You go balls to the wall. You don't hold back.
I was talking about her waving her titties in your face.
Oh, I remember that.
She does it every time.
Well, then just do a normal SFM sex scene, I guess. Just
Jesus,
imprint it in the game.
Connor, no.
What?
No, Connor.
What?
No.
It's not a big deal.
No, there's one scene where she's in the cave, where she's in her underwear. We can keep that scene the same, I guess. It's a little weird, but she's actively trying to seduce Snake in that scene. But all the other times where literally her character intro is she shoots 5 dudes, walks up to Snake, and shows him her tits. To which I go, why?
I'm assuming in that part they would just have her walk up to him. Because, that's just an animation you have to include, so they just wouldn't do it.
Yeah. But it's weird, man. Weird, man.
When do you think this stuff would come out? How far into the future?
Oh, I don't think we get. And then it depends on how the remasters are packaged. I don't think we get the remasters for 2 years. This remake, I don't think we get for another 5 plus.
That'd be believable.
So yeah, we're looking at 2023 for remasters, maybe. And then even then, it depends on what type of package we get. And 2027, 2026 maybe for a Snake Eater remake. Yeah, that's not a small game.
No,
and that's a lot of assets you have to change, and it goes through a bunch of different environments. It's the jungle game, but it's not only a jungle. It's mountains and sewers and military bases, different types of military bases too. Mm-hmm.
It's not copy and pasted.
Yeah, there's a lot, and then how much of that design do we change? How much of it is being changed? Is it the same environments that we're running through with just slightly updated gameplay that doesn't break the level design? Okay, that's a lot less work. Or do we widen these environments and make them bigger? Do we make it a seamless environment with no loading screens? Mm-hmm. What? And can I? For the most part, there are segments where it cuts off, but there are moments in Snake Eater where you can run a pretty far way, you can backtrack pretty fucking far. Mm-hmm. Do we make it to where you can go from the end of the game pretty much all the way back to the front of the game if you wanted to? What do we do here? That would be really cool. I would like that. Because that was obviously something they intended to do because they did it with MGS1. Mm-hmm. In MGS1, you can go from the end of the game all the way to the front of the game if you wanted. You can backtrack all the way if you want. It's a waste of time. There's no point in doing it, but you can.
It's an option.
It's an option. I would like that for Snake Eater because Snake Eater does segment you off in parts. MGS2 pretty much just puts you in a central hub, and you're just hanging around in that hub for 8 hours, and then they put you in a different location for story reasons, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I got a lot of questions, man. What is the format of this game? What is the format of these remasters? What are the packaging? What are the pricings? What are all these things? These are questions I'm not going to get answers to for several years. And then even that, are we getting the Metal Gear Solid remasters one at a time for $30 a pop?
Well, from the way the leaks were framed, they might be announcing new things soon. I don't know if it's going to be Metal Gear related because they have other things going on. Maybe we'll get an inkling of what they're doing then, but like you said, it may be a couple of years before we even see anything.
Yeah.
Any kind of news or what.
Oh, I'm anxious. I'm excited. I'm nervous. Do not fuck up my favorite video game of all time, Konami. This is my favorite fucking video game of all time. Connor, this is the only thing that, like, as soon as you mention it, I go, fuck, that could dethrone the original. If they do it right. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Because I had to sit there for a long time with games that I've played recently. Persona 4 Golden. Last of Us Part 2. I had to sit there and think. I'm like, man, do I like these games more than Snake Eater? Snake Eater's been my favorite game since I played it. And that was in 2007?
Mm-hmm.
8? Somewhere around there? No, it was post 4, so it had to have been like 2010. Anyways. Like 4 had been out for a while by the time I got to Snake Eater, is what I mean. Oh, God. So many memories, so much nostalgia, and you have to don't fuck this up. Don't fuck it up.
Hey, you're asking that of Konami.
I know!
You're asking a lot from them right now.
Oh, it hurts.
You're demanding a lot. It's frankly selfish.
Oh, it hurts so bad.
It may not hurt. You don't have to say it hurts.
Just give me the original games. I want a remake for the first game because it looks old. It's so old.
Looks terrible. I'll say it.
It's got moments.
It's got
moments. The Sniper Wolf moment looks okay.
I've never seen that moment. I don't even know what moment you're talking about.
I mean, it looks like the rest of the game.
You
don't know about the Sniper Wolf moment?
I know about who Sniper Wolf is. I don't know about the moment.
Oh my god. It's like top 3 moments in the game, dude.
Well, maybe I'll find out soon what that is.
The Psycho Mantis gimmicks.
Uh-huh.
It's Sniper Wolf. And then it's just the whole climax of the game. The whole climax of the game is perfect.
Which sounds like it goes on longer than I originally thought it did. I thought it was just one fight, and then
it took Phil a long time, but Phil kind of he was in his tunnel vision mode, and he wasn't trying to adapt. Probably won't take you that long.
Guess I'll find out sometime.
Yes, you'll find out sometime. You know. We will. You know what? That's what we're doing next. After you beat Village, we're doing it.
That's what I said earlier.
I'm making you do it. I don't want to fucking hear you complain. I'm gonna dig out my PlayStation 1 Classic somewhere around here.
I offered it earlier. I
said. Anyways, Connor, that's it for today, or that's it for the news today. Let's go ahead and dip into our famous segment, our most popular segment. I don't even think any of that's true. Connor, what have you been playing, bro?
I've barely played anything this week. I was originally playing Tales of Arise. Haven't actually progressed in a while in that game.
You were hypothesizing that you were going to finish it this week, Connor.
I thought I was, and then I didn't play almost any games this week. The one thing I played an hour and a half of, maybe not even that, is a new fighting game called Melty Blood Type Lumina. Okay. Funny enough, I'd mentioned on the show before, I started playing the latest version of the old game that released back like 2011, something like that. I don't even know.
That's an old game.
It's a pretty old game, yeah. I played it. I started playing it at the beginning of this year, and then like 2 weeks later, the next game got announced. Surprisingly, so after getting my hands on it, one thing that I can definitely say about it is the music is amazing. Melty Blood, French Bread Games in general, those are the developers, make great video game soundtracks with their fighting games. Absolutely amazing.
That's something you need for a fighting game.
It is.
You're going to be listening to that music for a long time.
Yes. The old Melty Blood game, that was probably one of the most notable aspects of the game. Everyone just would listen to it on its own because it was just funky and nice to listen to.
Dope.
The sprite, it uses, the characters are in sprites, so they're not 3D models like Guilty Gear is doing or Tekken is doing. So they do have that semblance of the older games, but they look really, really new. Their faces aren't blurry like they were in the old game. You can make out a lot of details on them. It looks fantastic.
Wait, this game was announced and then released within this calendar year?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah, we didn't actually... It was announced. We didn't see anything until like a couple months later when they started releasing character trailers, which that was the most they ever did for this game.
When did the game come out?
It came out Thursday.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, so it got announced and it came out.
Are you aware Nickelodeon All-Stars Brawl comes out Tuesday?
Yeah. Came out. It's same kind of situation.
It comes out this Tuesday.
Yeah, it just got announced and then it's like, oh yeah, it's this.
Oh wait, no, it's out.
Tuesday.
It's out, or it's out.
It is?
Is it out now?
I didn't think it was.
I don't know.
Well,
I looked it up like 2 days ago. It was like 3 days.
Yeah.
Okay, no. So yeah, no. It comes out Monday night, Tuesday.
Okay.
You know.
Well, final thing I'll say about Lumina
dude,
right now.
we should probably do a Tuesday. Oh fuck, that hype stream. We should probably end it with some All-Star Brawl.
Play a little bit.
You gotta come through at the. Oh, you can't because you. Oh no, dude, your shit's on different days.
Yeah,
now.
I can show up then.
Oh, you gotta come through. You gotta come through the night when we're done with Until Dawn.
Yeah, I'll definitely do that.
Which, by the way, hype. You can watch us play video games live. Have you ever played? Twitch.tv/2pennygames. This week, we're putting everything on pause right now. We did finish Uncharted 3 last week. Fuck, I gotta talk to Phil about filming an After the Hype. Totally blanked on that. Oh, shit. Well, okay, so there's not gonna be an After the Hype attached to this. Probably not. But we will record that and have it out, hopefully, before this next Tuesday at 8 a.m. YouTube.com/2pennygamescast. To get Phil's review of Uncharted 3, capping off the original trilogy, and in which we're going to take a little break. We're putting Jak 2 on pause. Phil says I'm almost done. He says I'm almost done. I can only play it for about 3 hours at a time before I get fed up, and he says I'm almost done, which excites me. But now we're going to put it on pause because we're doing Spooky Month.
It's October.
With hype. It's October. We're going to start with Until Dawn. We're going to play that pretty much all day. It's going to be fun, exciting. And then from there, we're going to figure it out. Maybe some Resident Evil 2 Remake.
Jak and Daxter isn't scary?
No, what? No, it's scared. I mean, it haunts me. I wouldn't say it's scary, but it haunts me, Connor. It haunts me.
You've made that very clear.
Oh, I actively... anyways, we'll get into that later. Anyways.
Resident Evil 2 Remake, as you were saying.
Maybe some Resident Evil 2 Remake, and then from there, who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe some original Dead Space.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. I don't know. Probably not. You know? We'll figure it out.
The new one's coming out.
We'll play it by ear. The new one is coming out, and I do think Phil should have some kind of foundation.
Think so?
Before he plays that remake, right? Don't you think?
I think it's good to see how good that game plays, even after all these years later.
It's a good game.
It's a great game. Yeah. Played it recently.
Anyways, twitch.tv/2pennygames. Come watch us play, and then I guess we'll do an impromptu Nickelodeon All Stars Brawl.
First gameplay.
First gameplay hours. You know, we'll even put that. Well, yeah, fuck it. We'll record it. We'll put it up on YouTube. It'll be fun.
Who are remaining?
Who are remaining?
That's the guy.
Who are remaining? They just announced this week all the Avatar characters.
They did, yeah.
Yeah, Aang is there, Korra is there, Toph is there.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. I saw someone say Avatar: The Last Airbender is going to be the Fire Emblem characters of All-Star Brawl.
It's probably going to be.
Where it's going to be so many fucking Avatar characters, which makes sense.
Curious how long that game's going to last.
Did you watch that gameplay breakdown?
Yeah.
It's surprisingly deep.
It is.
Arguably deeper than Smash Brothers, from the looks of it.
Yeah.
You can wave dash, Connor.
Yeah. Side to side.
Looks cute.
Go.
I want to play it. I'm excited.
Too bad it's not going to have any voice acting, though. It's going to be kind of weird just to hear people get tossed around with no noises.
There's no lines?
No.
There's no voice lines?
No.
They're not even pulling voice lines from the cartoons?
Not how they said they didn't have voice lines. It's silent.
Just zero?
Yeah.
How?
I don't know.
That's kind of like the whole point.
I know. Yeah.
I want to hear Patrick say dumb shit while he beats up fucking Cat Dog.
I want to as well. But it doesn't sound like that's what we're getting.
How do you do Invader Zim but not have Invader Zim's voice?
He makes the yelling animation. The screaming one. Remember how he does this?
What?
Ah! But you don't hear the scream because there's no voice acting.
I mean, I guess there's no voices for the Smash Brothers characters.
But they do like
they do
taunts.
when they're taunts. Yeah.
Like I don't even think they make noises when they get hit.
I get, dude. If they don't make noises when they get hit, that's ridiculous.
I think they don't make noises when they get hit.
That's ridiculous. There's no way. That would be, how? How do you do that? Anyways,
I think they do like weird squeaky noises or something.
I guess we'll find out. Come join us, twitch.tv/2pennygames.
Out.
That'll be later in the evening, probably like 9 o'clock or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Real quick,
yeah.
Before I move on to what you've been playing.
Off.
Yeah, no problem. The most interesting mechanic, last thing I can say, is shielding in Melty Blood. Now, you could do that in the original one, but in this one, you have before, it just basically allowed you to get in and start attacking after you shielded, but now you have the option of pressing B, which puts you behind the enemy, so you can hit them, doing something called a shield counter, where you do a strike after you shield and you do some kind of response to it. Shielding is a very big, important defensive mechanic in Melty Blood. And from more experienced players online, I've seen just interactions that last for 8 seconds at a time of them just hitting a shield, doing something in response, the enemy shielding in response, and it just goes on for like 8 seconds of just these clashes that look really cool. That's the most interesting thing about the game, but like I said, haven't really gotten much hands-on stuff. What'd you just see?
No, it's something in the group chat. It's gross. Anyways.
Uh-oh.
You'll enjoy it when you see it.
I don't think I will.
I'm sorry. Anything else in Melty Blood?
No, well, there is, but I can't accurately speak on that kind of stuff.
You can't speak on it because you're too early in. Speaking of too early in, the only thing I've been playing, I did play a little bit of Jak 2 last week on twitch.tv/2pennygames. But the only other thing I've been playing is I did start Tales of Arise. And you're right, the combat in this game is actually a lot of fun. Immediately, like instantly, I'm like, oh, this is fun.
Yes.
And I can't wait for... I'm only an hour in, and most of that is cutscene.
Yeah, it gradually puts you into the game.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's going to get heavier with the systems, and it's going to allow me to play more and more, and the cutscenes will become spread out a little more, and the ratio will be better later.
I don't know how you'll feel about it, but it is one of those games where it constantly introduces new systems. They're not major ones. They get the baseline of how you play the game, but just smaller things.
What do you mean constantly?
Well,
am I getting new systems like 15 hours in?
No. More of it, it's like one of the big things is a mini game stuff. There's certain things that party members can do in combat. I don't know how far you've gotten.
I unlocked Pink Hair Girl.
Yeah,
and stopped.
Yeah, so you'll see. It's not overwhelming from my stance. I just didn't know how you would think on that kind of stuff.
I see you last week or the week before when you started playing it. I do see the Final Fantasy VII Remake comparison that you keep making.
Mm-hmm.
But I do like the little twist on it where, sure, you've got your like regular melee attack that does minimal damage.
Yeah.
And you do your little 3-hit combo or whatever. But I kind of actually like what they're doing with the arts system, which is kind of like using your abilities in 7 Remake, where you have to build up your ATB. Mm-hmm. Meter to use those abilities, and the abilities do the heavy thing. In Remake, in 7 Remake, it's you have to build up that meter faster. You get aggressive and you do your little minimal attack, or you do your minimal damage small attacks to build up those meters fast. I like that it's the opposite here, where if you attack, it slows down the buildup of your abilities, because this creates chaining together combos in really interesting and neat ways that I think are really cool, that you can then use to build upon damage. And I assume the systems are going to complement this by, giving me all these crazy abilities that are able to chain to get, like, one of the first abilities you unlock as fucking Iron Mask or whatever his name is it's knocking a guy in the air.
Yes,
and then from there I can't really do much with him there. I can attack him a few times and then we both fall to the ground. So I assume I can get some crazy air combo things building and going on later on in life, and then doubling that up with other characters in my party and really chaining together moves that'll like really fuck some shit up. But I do like how like these combos can't go on forever.
They end. Yeah, because
and I'm already feeling like, oh man, some of these guys feel like some damage sponges. Mm-hmm. Maybe that'll change as I get better equipment, but I assume the difficulty thing is gonna rise as I progress as well. So
it does.
Maybe that damage sponge thing will never really go away.
A lot of that changes with the party members, because the bosses can be a little bit spongy. That's the most spongy kind of enemies you face in the game, but the more party members you get, the more damage output they're doing, the more arts you get, the more you're doing in any given combat, especially because you can build your meter that allows you to use more astral arts, so you are putting out a lot more damage.
Instead of 3 abilities, I can have 4, 5, 6. Okay, before I run out. Okay, all that makes sense. So I'm excited to continue exploring the systems of Tales. I am excited to continue playing Tales. This game is early impressions. The story and the characters of the game might just be a little too anime for my liking.
That's what I was saying before. It was like, it is very anime.
It was when, and this isn't really a spoiler, because it happens in the first hour. I don't even know what's happening in this game yet. She gets hit with the arrow, and then the flames come out of her chest, and then it's a fucking orb, but then it's also a flame sword.
Yeah.
And then it's the dude who doesn't feel any pain can use the flame sword. And it's like, okay, sure, fucking whatever, dude. You sound alright, whatever. And then I don't think the acting is phenomenal. And I've yet to be attached to any characters except for the pink hair girl. I do like the pink hair girl.
You like her?
I like her.
I think the main voice actors overall are good.
I'm not like... I'm on the fence with Iron Mask, who's our main guy, I guess. So maybe I'll like him later. Maybe I'll grow to dislike him. But like everybody else, I'm like, this is fucking whatever. I do not like the design of the main bad, or the like infantry dudes.
Oh, the super armor.
And I don't like that they've made the choice to have them speak like they're speaking through a mask with everything they do. I don't. It's annoying. It's clearly like they're just stormtroopers.
Yeah.
But you've just I don't know. I'm not vibing with it. And really the world as a whole, I'm not super vibing with, which is crazy because the anime intro I was vibing with.
The anime intro was great.
Intro's great. Yeah, but just from a design perspective, I'm not really vibing with anything they've shown me so far. Granted, I've looked at underground mines and mining slavery environments, so it's just a lot of brown and a lot of rock and metal.
That first area,
and industrial and stuff. So I'm gonna give it some more time. I'm gonna give it an actual shot. But just the initial impressions, I'm like, I'm not really vibing with the construction of this world. I also don't like Japanese games that use this art style. It feels cheap because it is cheap. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm talking about, where it's like this like CG animated thing instead of I'm trying to think of games that like I like that stuff, like Fire Emblem. Like Fire Emblem Three Houses, I think looks phenomenal. Like even in the battle zones, I think it looks great. It doesn't look cheap like this looks, or when you're running around the campus, it doesn't look cheap. Persona 5 doesn't look cheap when you're running around like this. This reminds me of old like Avatar games on PlayStation 2, you know? And it's like the main thing that turned me off of Scarlet Nexus. Granted, I enjoyed this combat way more than Scarlet Nexus's combat because it's faster. Scarlet felt a little stiffer than this, which turned me off. But the Scarlet Nexus combat was good, and then like also like this story is more interesting to me than Scarlet Nexus' story. Scarlet Nexus was just kind of super generic and bland. This I think does have some original ideas that I would like to see explored and grown apart. And again, in the first hour, I haven't even dipped my toe in. You know, like
should let you know.
Yeah.
The first area of the game that you're in right now, really more or less serves as a tutorial.
I know.
The whole area.
I know. So like, it literally like they showed me how to swing a sword, and then they were like, "Hey, this character's a healer," and then I turned the game off.
Yeah,
and just because I was like, I got to go to work, I'm not in the mood, yada 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 yada. So I am gonna play more, and I do think I'm gonna. I think I will at least play enough to get me to the point where like I could even feel good about putting it on like a top 10 list if I end up liking it that much. I don't know if I'll beat it. We'll find out. We got games coming down the pipeline, man. Yeah. I'm on a time crunch here. There's a bunch of games about to come out, so that I'm way more interested in playing than this. But at least for this next week, I'll be playing this.
Yeah.
So
see if it hooks you.
I'll see. You know, I'll see. And then I've still got a huge ass backlog. I've had a bunch of games on my fucking PC that I've been saying I'm going to play, and I don't play. Instead, I play Splitgate with Ferguson and Phil.
Okay.
Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for all of what we've been playing. That's it for the news. Thank you so much for joining us over here at the at the Two Penny Gamescast, episode 63. Reminder, you can get this every Monday, 8 a.m. Central Time, youtube.com/2pennygamescast, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud. Please, really, it does help. Drop a like, drop a follow, share it to a friend. We really do appreciate it. Give us the 5-star ratings, all that stuff that kind of gets the algorithms circulating a little bit. We really, really do appreciate it a lot. Now, if you didn't know, we mentioned it shortly before. We do play games live. Twitch.tv/2pennygames. I do solo streams every once in a while, but mainly we go live all day, every day, Tuesday from 1 p.m. Central till about 8 p.m. So it's like an 8-9 hour stream, somewhere around there. 7 to 9 hour stream, depending on how we're feeling that day. We're probably going to be going extra long this week as we probably do a full playthrough of Until Dawn.
Think so?
Maybe, I would assume so. And then we'll probably do some Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl at the end for an hour or two and play around with that and have some fun with that. Again, twitch.tv/2pennygames. Please go follow us over there as well. And until next week, everybody have a great week. And Connor, say goodbye to the people.
Goodbye.